Hi everyone. Course is all about Oracle Financials, Oracle application, and I got 15 years of experience in Oracle application. It is a faculty for you. The course would go for somewhere around 45 days to 50 days. I'm taking few things into consideration and I'm explaining this class as if I'm thinking that you don't know anything about ERP, as if you are not from the ERP background. So I'll start the way that I teach to the layman who don't know much about ERP. Now, you people must be knowing about Oracle Corporation. Oracle Corporation is basically name of the company. They got too many softwares, but I'm not talking about too many softwares now. I'm talking about only two softwares. One is Oracle, one is Oracle application. So these are two different softwares I'm talking. First one I'm referring to the company, and these two things I'm referring to the two different softwares which Oracle Corporation they have. What is Oracle? Oracle is a RDBMS backend database you call. What does Oracle consist of? Oracle consists of SQL and PLSQL. And we have too many versions, but the latest version which we have in Oracle as of today, 12c. Similarly, when you talk about Oracle application is called as ERP, e-business suite, ERP package rather. And this ERP package, e-business suite consists of various modules. Similarly, even Oracle application ERP also got too many modules, but the module which I'm trying to discuss with you is R12. This is the latest one which is having as of today. Quite often, too many students, they used to ask me, what is the difference between Oracle and Oracle application? Oracle, I told you just now, is a database backend, and SQL, PLSQL would be there in the Oracle. Now coming to Oracle application, as I told you, Oracle application is consists of basically various modules. Modules like what? Purchasing, payables, order management, receivables. More than 200, 300 modules are there. I won't able to put the list here. I'm just taking example as 4 modules. And now each module have its own activity to perform. Every module have its own job to perform. So purchasing module, what we do for our business, we buy the item through purchasing module. Once you buy the item, you are liable to pay to your supplier, and how you pay? You pay through payable module. Account payables or you also call payables. Both are one and the same. Through payables, what we do? We make the payment. Through purchasing, we buy the item. Through payables, we make the payment. Subsequently, through order management, what we do? We are going to book the sales. The item, whatever we buy from our supplier, we are going to sell the same product to our customers. Our own customers. We may have our own customers. We are going to sell them. But how do you sell the product? We sell the product through order management. Order management is basically to sell the product. After selling the product, your customer may not be happy with the item. Your customer might return the item to you. When your customer is going to return the item to you, you are going to book the sales return. You sell through order management. You also book the sales return whenever you might get a return also, right? Your customer is not happy with the quality or may not happy with the quality, maybe price, maybe so many reasons. So in the receivables, what we do for the product whichever you sold, for the item whichever you sold, for that you are going to create an invoice, customer invoice you create. Whenever you create a customer invoice, what would happen? Your customer is going to make the payment. For customer it is a payment, but for you it is a receipt. You receive the funds from your customer. You book the invoice, you send the invoice to your customer will make the payment. Whenever you receive the payment from your customer, you are going to generate the receipt. It is called as cash receipt. So every module have its own activity to perform. So in the modules, what we do, in each module, you process your business data, you enter your business data. Whenever you process your business data, what would happen? This data, whatever you record in the various modules like purchasing table, so on, all this data finally go and get stored where? Oracle. What is Oracle? Oracle is a repository. Oracle is backend. Oracle is the database. Finally, where the data would get stored. Oracle is what? Storage. Oracle is what? Backend. Where data is going to store. But where you enter the data? We enter the data in Oracle application ERP, but finally data will get stored where? In the Oracle database. I am not going to teach you Oracle database. I am not the faculty for Oracle. I am the faculty for only Oracle application ERP. Now, before we discuss more about Oracle or Oracle application, let me talk a bit about Oracle. Then slowly we'll go into ERP. You people heard about Java, anyone? What is Java? Java is a programming language like C, Pro C, COBOL. I'm not asking what is Java. Java is just now I told you it's a programming language. Now, let me take you next step, next level. Next level is what? What is basically meaning of Java? The meaning of Java is basically coffee beans. Coffee beans you also call coffee seeds. Not only that, the globe in the universe, we also have something called as what? Java Island. Where it is located? It is located somewhere in the Indonesia. So that is all about Java. This is the meaning of Java. Coffee beans or coffee seeds. Not only that, There is an island called as Java Island. Let's move on with Oracle. What is Oracle? Oracle is there in front of you, database, backend. The meaning of Oracle, the actual meaning of Oracle, if you find the dictionary, you can find that Oracle is nothing but voice of the God. One dictionary it is very clearly mentioning nothing but Oracle is nothing but voice of the God. We have too many dictionaries available in the market. Other dictionary saying that voice without physical appearance. That means voice is coming out but no presence of the body. Voice is coming out but no presence of the body. That can be voice of the God, even that can be voice of the devil also. Let us not be in a negative sense, let us be in a positive sense, let us conclude that Oracle is nothing but voice of the God. Now tell me something, who is key person behind Microsoft? I'm not asking about Oracle, I'm asking the key person behind Microsoft. The key person behind Microsoft is Bill Gates. You ask school going boy or a girl about computers or about Microsoft, Bill Gates they're going to tell. Because Bill Gates is such a great person, such a rich person across the globe, anyone knows about Bill Gates. He's the key person behind Microsoft. Now tell me anyone who knows about Oracle. Who is the key person behind Oracle? There is three people behind Oracle. One is Larry Ellison, the current CEO, the owner of the company. The two more guys, Bob Miller and Edwards. Those two people are also part of the Oracle when the company was being started. But Bob Miller and Edwards is no more with Oracle. They left the Oracle long back. They are in the world. They are not in the world that I really don't know. They initially, when the company was started, they were there. Later they left the company. Now, let me talk a bit about history of the company. So three people along with other five people, totally about somewhere around 8 people, they started working on the Oracle company and the software what they want to develop. So these three people started a company called as RSI. Today name of the company is Oracle Corporation. Initially when they started the company name was what? The name of the company was RSI. Relational Software Incorporated. Today you are calling Oracle Corporation, but initially it was RSI. When it was being started in the year 1977. By that time, most of the people, you people who is attending, they would have not been born by that time. 1977, the company was being started or launched. And the goal, the target was what? The target for these three people and other people, the target is to develop the database. Database is for what? To store the data. And to develop the database, they took the help of C as well as SQL language. C is one language, SQL is one more language. With the help of C and SQL language, they started working on Oracle database. The name of the database, what they gave, the name of the database that they gave is Oracle. Oracle is the name of the database, but how it was being developed with the help of C and SQL. Versions in Oracle. The latest version, when I started my session today, I told you that R12 is the latest version in the ERP. But here you see, there was even version number 1 was there. 1977, the company was started. 78, after struggling for about 1 year, these three people along with other 5 people, as I told you, they started with what they released version number 1 as a 1.0 as a prototype. What do you mean by prototype? Prototype is nothing but trial version, free version. You don't require to really buy it. Free of cost that Oracle has given to everyone or anyone or their business associates. After taking the feedback, version number 1 was being again revised version was being released in the year 1979. And it is the first commercial version which Oracle has been launched. Subsequently, version number 2 was being released in the year 1980, where it was working on an operating system called as RSX11, and they had some issue, they have some problem. That is the reason they have shifted to one more operating system called as DEC, AX, IBM operating system. So you people might have not heard about this operating system. You people must be knowing about Windows 10, Unix, Linux, all these are the today operating system. But those days we don't have Windows 7 or Windows 95 or Windows 10, all that we don't have. Those days what we have, RSX11, DOS we had, DEC, AX, IBM, those operating systems were there. So initially version number 2 was working on RSX11. They had some problem. That is the reason they shifted to one more operating system called as DEC, AX, IBM, OS. But mind you, my friends, 2.0 was a kind of a bad dream for Oracle. Why bad dream? Few customers, they are not comfortable with version number 2. Few customers, they are not happy with version number 2, which Oracle has been issued. Oracle launched it. Because performance was not really on par as per their requirement. So Oracle was in a loop. What to do, what not to do, whether to proceed or whether to stop, what to do. So Oracle never taken a huge break like they taken 80, no more revised version, 81, no more revised version, 82, no more revised version. And in the year 1983, they come down with version number 3.0, making a lot of enhancements in the software, performance tuning they made. So too many things that they taken into consideration. This version onwards, slowly, the business associates and the software people those days used to slowly started accepting the software. Slowly appreciating the software. This is how the Oracle journey was been. I can tell you version number 4, 5, all that, but I don't want to bore you with all that version. You're really interested, we can have separate class, not in the demo class. Now coming to Oracle application. Most of the students, they used to ask what is Oracle application, what is Oracle financial. Difference between Oracle applications and financials, they used to ask. So let me tell you, see, way back 15, 20 years, I done my degree, bachelor's degree. When I done my degree, those days, what degrees we had? Only 3 degrees that we had. What was that? One degree that we had was BA. BA stands for Bachelor of Arts. BSc or BCom we had. And one more we have is BSc. So this was the 3 degrees that we had. And every degree generally will have 3 years. So Oracle application is what? Oracle application is like a degree. This Oracle application is what all you get. You'll get Oracle financials, you'll get manufacturing, you will get distributions, you will get human resources, you will get project accounting, and you will get Oracle CRM. Now, generally, you will be choosing only one. Tomorrow when you go to job also, they won't ask you, hey gentlemen, in Oracle application, what all you did? No one will ask you. All this, you will be, tomorrow, let's say example, I go to interview and I say that in Oracle applications, e-business suite, I'm comfortable or I'm expertise in financials, manufacturing, distribution, human resources, project accounting, CRM. If I start telling, the guy, whoever is going to take your interview, will stand up immediately and will say that, sir, you know better than me. Better you take my interview rather than I take your interview. No one would be expertising by themselves knowing all this. So my core area is from past 15 years only financials. I'm working on financials. I'm a consultant for financials. My only degree is financials, nothing beyond that. It is not that I don't know manufacturing, or it is not that I don't know distributions or human resources. I know bits and pieces, but my core area is only financials. Tomorrow when you go to job also, they will not expect that you know all this. You should be good in only one particular area, maybe financials, maybe manufacturing, distribution, so on. Subsequently, when you talk about financials, when you say financials, when I talk about BA or when I talk about BCom, BSc, one particular degree, each degree have their subject. When you talk about BCom, what you have in BCom? Account, statistics, costing, taxing. When you talk about BSc, what you have in the BSc? Mathematics, science, so on. When you talk about BA, political science, civics, economics, so on. So here also, what would be there in the Oracle Financials? Oracle Financials will have general ledger, payables, receivables, cash management, fixed assets. Any faculty, whoever is teaching you, she or he has to teach you all these financials. These are called as core financial modules. As a part of your course, I'll be teaching these 5 modules. Not only these 5 modules, I will also going to teach you something called as subledger accounting. I'll be teaching you something called as e-business too, e-business tax. And I'll be teaching you something called as purchasing. Purchasing is not part of financials, but being I have vast experience as purchasing, I don't want my knowledge to go in vain. I'm going to share even my purchasing knowledge whichever I hold. Purchasing is basically, I'm not supposed to teach you because purchasing is not part of financials. Purchasing is part of distribution. But still I'm going to teach you because purchasing is tightly integrated with payables. Payables and purchasing are so tightly integrated. So P2P cycle we call, what we call P2P cycle. That also I'm going to share with you. So in a span of somewhere around 45 to 50 days, I'll be covering all these modules: general ledger, payables, receivables, cash management, fixed assets, as well as subledger accounting, e-business tax, as well as purchasing. This is what you are going to learn from me. Again, there is one more question that most of my students, they used to ask me: how ERP is going to work, how ERP is going to function. So let me just give a simple overview. The one you see in the middle called as general ledger. General ledger you also call main ledger or general ledger. Now all the modules which is being surrounded is called as subledgers or submodules. The submodules what we do is submodules like purchasing, payables, receivables, order management, cash management, what we do. Every module have its own activity to perform. That's what I told you, right? Purchasing module, we create a purchase order. Payable module, we going to make the payment. Order management to book the sales. Receivables to receive the funds. Inventory to store the item. And human resources to manage employees, starting from recruiting till retirement. In these various modules, what we do in the various modules, you record your business data. And finally, what will happen to this data? This data finally will come to general ledger. What is general ledger? General ledger is the main module. Subledgers is what all this purchasing, payables, all called as subledgers. Data will be processed in subledgers, and data finally will come to main ledger. What is main ledger here? General ledger. So general ledger, what we do, we take out the report. How much expenses that we have been incurred, how much purchases that we have been made, how much payments that we have been made. Everything will be recorded. That will come to general ledger. General ledger, we retrieve the data. We process what you call some reports. The report, what you would able to know, whether you are in a profits, whether you are in a losses, how much you are in profits, how much you are in losses. You prepare a profit and loss account, you prepare balance sheet, so on. So in the financials, what you do, the same thing that you are going to do here. So forget about this one. You talk about SAP ERP. You talk about peoples of ERP. You talk about JD Edwards. Any ERP, this is what is going to happen. Sub-ledger concept and main ledger concept will not go. This will remain same. Different ERPs that we have in the market is what Oracle application, SAP, we have peoples of, we have JD Edwards, we have Bond, we have Ramco Marshall, we have. These are the different ERPs that we have in the market. There is one more important ERP which I didn't put it in the slide. I forgot to put that. One more ERP which is rocking today. That is Microsoft Dynamics. But that is a pretty young compared with SAP, pretty young when compared with Oracle. But even that also Microsoft, that basically belongs to Microsoft Dynamics we call. That is also really good ERP which is nowadays going up, giving good market. But today the leaders are only two. One is Oracle application, one is SAP. Now coming to JD Edwards. JD Edwards is no more. JD Edwards, which is there in the fourth box, you can see carefully. JD Edwards is no more. JD Edwards is acquired by Peoples of long back. And Peoples of is also no more today. Peoples of is also acquired by Oracle. So now, in the hands of Oracle, who are there? Peoples of is there. JD Edwards is there. Not only that, Siebel CRM. I don't know whether you heard about Siebel CRM. This is basically powerful software for CRM. Siebel CRM is also no more today. That is also acquired by Oracle. Today, Oracle has become so powerful when even compared with any other ERP rather. Though the SAP is little older than Oracle making SAP to not to sleep. SAP have its own their market. They have their own market. Oracle is giving very, very tight competition to SAP. Bond is also good ERP. Ramco Marshall is also good ERP, but Ramco Marshall is a Bond lagging marketing strategy. Whereas Ramco Marshall is basically suitable for cement business, not for regular business. The price is bit low, not bit low, it's very low when compared with other ERPs. When you talk about the database, every ERP, you process your business data, and every ERP, whenever you process your data, the data finally come and store in a database backend. Coming to Oracle, that the backend is what? Oracle 11, 12C today. Here the slide was being prepared, pretty old slide, so that is the reason here you don't see 12C here. Oracle, the database is what? 12C. That's what I told you initially when I started my session. SAP initially was using Sybase as a database. SQL Server as a database. Informatics is one more database, powerful database from IBM. Initially, they are not interested to use Oracle because Oracle is a competitor. So the reason they don't want to use the Oracle database as a backend. What happened? Because of so many reasons, security reasons or whatever you call, smoothness in the database. Finally, SAP also, most of the installations today, if you see, Oracle have their own database. SAP, they don't have their own database. HANA they have, but compared with HANA and Oracle, they have their own limitations. But most of the installations across the globe today, if you see, SAP also using backend as Oracle. Oracle advantage is what? Their own ERP, their own backend. SAP, their own ERP, but they don't have proper backend. And at the end of the day, they are depending on Oracle for back. PeopleSoft backend, earlier they are using Oracle as a backend. Oracle. JD Edwards also Oracle. Bond is also Oracle. Ramco Marshall is also Oracle. So they have their own. You don't have their own ERP, and everyone, most of the ERPs, they are depending on Oracle. When you talk about Modular Independent, in Oracle, the advantage is what? You can buy bits and pieces. Module by module, piece by piece, slice by slice, you can buy. Where? In Oracle. Initially, this practice was not with the SAP. SAP, you need to buy the whole package. Whereas, when you talk about Oracle application, you want to buy general ledger, you want to buy receivables, you want to buy cash management, you want to buy fixed assets. One by one module you can acquire, no issues. SAP, no. Or SAP was saying that you need to buy the whole package or the whole module you need to buy. We are not going to sell it pieces by pieces, slice by slice. That's what initial strategy. But what happened later, SAP realized that, Oracle is a competitor who is selling bits and pieces. So SAP also realized that, and SAP also started doing same practice of selling module by module, piece by piece. But this practice was there initially only with Oracle. And now even today also, PeopleSoft or JD Edwards, anyway, JD Edwards is no more today. PeopleSoft is also no more today. But when they were there initially, that time also they were not selling module by module, piece by piece. Everything they used to sell whole package. But this practice was being started initially by Oracle, later even adopted by the SAP. Who is providing the great support? Every company, they will provide good support only. It is not that only Oracle is doing good support. SAP have their own strategy of providing the support. But the great advantage with the Oracle is what? They also got something called as PGS, Platinum, Gold, Silver. Total, you are a Platinum user, you have any query, you will get some kind of quick response for a Platinum user. You are a Gold user within 1 day. You are a Silver user within 1 week. That is a maximum time I'm telling you. Okay, within 1 day in the sense, you make it within 2-3 hours or 4 hours. Within 1 week is a Silver. It stands for Silver. 1 week is a maximum time. You may get response within 1 or 2 days also. We don't know. Other ERP is still providing support, but they don't have the strategy like PGS support. Oracle got PGS support. So 24/7 across the globe, Oracle team is working. You have any issues, you are not able to go proceed further, and you stuck somewhere, you can take help of. You can lodge service request with them. They'll come back and they will support you. With your issue in the module, in the respective module wherever you are facing a issue. The other thing that you also should know is what SAP Compare with SAP, Oracle is friendly. How can you say that I'm friendly? You see, without Oracle knowledge, without telling Oracle what you done, you went to back and you done certain changes, certain modifications. Oracle still take your pain as their pain. While making the modifications, what happened? You stuck somewhere, you held up somewhere, but still Oracle will take your pain as their pain and they'll try to get you out of the trouble. They'll bring you out of the trouble. That's what the Oracle is doing. Similarly, SAP also, you're not happy somewhere or other way. You done some modification changes in the software without telling the SAP people. While doing the changes, you stuck somewhere. Whenever you stuck somewhere, you called SAP people for help. Or SAP will say that go to hell. We are not going to support you without SAP saying that what without you want to modify it, please do us let us know. Take our permissions. Without our permission, you do modifications. We are not going to take any kind of responsibility. It is not that whatever you want to do in Oracle also, Oracle will not take responsibility. But compared with the SAP, Oracle is slightly friendly. Still, they'll would help you and they'll bring you out of the trouble. So this is all about the support part. So again, most of my students, they used to ask why we should go for ERP, why not accounting software? What is missing in the accounting software? Why we should go only with the ERP? There is a cheaper accounting softwares like Tally, Wings, Dekeezy. There's too many softwares are there. QuickBooks in USA, which is the famous one. Why not all these accounting, packages? Why ERP? So let me just give us light on that. Let me throw some light on that. You see, let us go back to 1960s and 70s. 1960s and 70s, those days, we don't have proper ERP. Proper ERP package we don't have. Those days we don't have proper computer rather. How accounting was happening? Those days everything was writing manually. Manual in the sense you required to run to the stationery shop, buy the book, write it everything manually. Let us take a scenario when a given organization like Tata Group or Birla Group or Reliance Group or any organization, they have 5 companies along with 5 departments they have. 5 companies and they have also 5 departments. 5 into 5, 25. So you require 25 books. For 25 books, I required about 5 people, 5 employees. Why 5 people? Because I am going to allocate or I am going to distribute every employee 5 books. Employee A, employee B, employee C, employee D, employee E. Everyone I am going to give 5 books. I tell them that you are eligible, you are live, you are responsible to write the data for 5 books like that. I am going to allocate 5 employees. That's fine. 25 books also fine. They will manage somehow. Now let us take a scenario when you have a 10 companies with 10 departments. You might require 100 books. For 100 books, you require 20 people. Even that can be manageable to some extent. Let us take a scenario. I have 100 companies with 100 departments. You require 10,000 books. 10,000, you require 2,000 employees. That's how you have more books and more companies and more departments. You require more books and more manpower. Maintaining would not be that easy. So manual accounting, you have its own limitation. More manpower, more books. That's what 1960s, 70s. No ERP, no accounting package, no computer. Those days, everything manually. What is there in the ERP then? If you adapt the ERP, if you buy the ERP for your organization, what would happen? If you buy the ERP for your organization, by adapting the ERP, by using the ERP, the beauty is what? You don't require too many books. Many books you don't require. Only one book is enough. Single book is enough. One book and single book is a term that which I am using only for your understanding. As such in Oracle, we don't have any single book or one book. What we have in Oracle is set-up book. Set-up books is also no more today. Set-up books is gone. Set-up books is gone with 11i. 11i is the older version. Today the latest version is R12. So in R12, what we have is ledger we have. The beauty of the ledger is what? The beauty of the ledger is, though you have 100 companies, 100 departments, though you have 1,000 companies and 1,000 departments, doesn't matter. Using Oracle application, we can able to manipulate with single ledger. One ledger is enough. One ledger you can capture the data for your whole business. For Tata Group, one ledger. For Birla Group, one ledger. For Reliance Group, one ledger. Like that, you can able to capture the data for your whole organization without having multiple books the way that we had in manual account. Let me throw some light on ledger also. What is just now I told you that we are going to record the whole business data where in the ledger. For every organization, Tata Group one ledger, Birla Group one ledger, Reliance Group one ledger, like every business you require a ledger. What would be there in the ledger? Ledger you will find something called as chart of accounts, which I am going to discuss as part of our course. We'll start a more detailed discussion on chart of accounts. Chart of accounts is nothing but your business structure. Tata Group, they have their own business across the globe, across the country, where they have their business. They have business in Calcutta, Mumbai, they have business in Hyderabad, they have business in Chennai, they have business in Bangalore, they have business in California, they have business in what you call New York, New Jersey. Like that, you need to capture what kind of companies they are basically, what kind of departments they are, what kind of accounts that they are dealing. The whole chart we are going to create, that is chart of accounts. The business flow that we are going to create. And to create a ledger, the first prerequisite is chart of accounts you require to design. Second prerequisite to design the chart of second prerequisite to create ledger is what? Currency. You are creating or you are implementing for Indian company, the currency will be INR. You are implementing for let's say USA, the currency will be USD. You are implementing for Australia, AUD is the currency. You are implementing for UK country, London, you are implementing, the headquarters is in London. That time pound will be the currency. You need to choose a currency. As such in Oracle, whenever you install the software, you get somewhere around 255 currencies that Oracle is going to capture for you. Everything is available there in the system. You need to identify the chart of account, the business flow. You need to identify the currency for which country you are implementing, and you also require to identify the calendar. Generally in Oracle, we have two different type of calendars starting from January to December. That is called as normal calendar, regular calendar, the calendar which you are going to hang to your wall at home. The normal calendar you hang to your wall, right? You put it in a wall. That is a normal calendar. Olden days you used to put it in a calendar to the wall. So that is called as normal calendar, regular calendar, starting from January till December. You can also have a different calendar. What kind of different calendar? You talk about US federal calendar. It is going to start from like July to June, like that. Starts in 1 year, ends in a different year. Starts in 1 year, ends in a different year. That is called as what? Fiscal calendar we call. First calendar you see in front of you, January to December is called as calendar, whereas fiscal calendar starts in 1 year, ends in a different year, like July to June. This year July it is going to start, it's going to end next year June. That is called as fiscal calendar. These are the three prerequisites: chart of accounts, currency, calendar. C, C, C that we call. We also have fourth C, new from R12. This is not really compulsory to create a lecture. Without fourth C also still you can create. What is fourth C? Convention. Convention is also called as accounting method. Accounting method is also called as convention. So we have two bases of accounting. One is cash, one is accrual. Cash is what? We do the transaction on cash basis. We buy, we sell everything on cash. Whereas accrual is what? We buy today, we pay over a period of time. We sell today, we will get over a period of time. Rather, I can say that credit purchases, credit sales. Whereas cash is what? We buy on cash. We sell on cash. So Oracle is going to help you. Oracle is going to support you with cash basis of accounting as well as accrual basis of accounting. But mind you, my friends, convention is nothing but accounting method. Accounting method is nothing but convention. And the fourth C is not compulsory to create the lecture. In order to create the lecture, you require the first three C's. Three C's, C are required. Fourth C is not required. But as part of your course, I am going to give detailed discussion, accrual and cash. We are going to have about 2 hour session on this when I discuss sublecture accounting. What are you going to get here from me? Codes would be covered on daily basis. How implementation, like my implementation in the live business scenario, how implementation is going to take place, how you gather the data. With taking some certain examples only, the whole course will go. And every module we are going to take certain use cases. And every time I'm going to show the use cases on module by module. I'm daily onwards I'm going to show you everything with proper example, proper use cases, with the live business example. And I'm going to provide you the whole course material by module wise, general lecture, payables, receivables, cash management, everything you will get module in depth module, in-depth material you will get, easy friendly module I'm going to give. Any layman can go and see form by form windows where you need to go, how to click, what you need to do, the module by module. I'm going to give it course also. Course material is my responsibility. 24/7 lab access till your training period is there, right? Till that time you will get, and I'm not going to provide any server access. That will be provided by the training company. Don't worry about that. They're honest, humble, providing the whole course. Your course is go for around 2 months or 3 months. They'll give you. Don't worry. You can also negotiate with them. You can tell them that I want 1 more month additional. They will help you out. Don't worry about it. Then apart from that, faculty, I'm the faculty here for you now. I'm also going to provide you the required material whenever any of the students want to go for a certification. I'm going to give the normal material. I'm going to give you friendly material. Apart from that, you also have some advanced material which I'm going to give you whenever anyone is interested to go for a certification. Certification course, I'll give overall guidance I can give you, but only thing is that you are the people who is going to work more and more, do more practice, sit for hours together. I'm going to provide you some practice and material. So that is my responsibility. End of the day, you are a person who is going to sit for hours together, go in depth, write the examination. Daily classes will be conducted during morning, during evening, based on the student availability. Based on your availability, we can negotiate that. Based on my slots, we can negotiate on that, and we can have a session on that. If you have more questions, more queries, you can raise the queries. Training organization will get back to me and I'll answer your questions. I love to answer queries. So that's it, gentlemen. Thank you for taking this session. All the best. Looking forward for you.